Hello, Capricorn, and welcome to your reading. This is Bright Soul Collective Tarot. My name is Laura, and these will be your intuitive insights and advice for the month of August 2022. So this reading will be for Capricorn Sun, Moon, and Rising. And by all means, if you know your three major placements, feel free to listen to any and all of the readings that apply. Each one of them may resonate with you differently. And this month's reading is more of like a pep talk, so it might be kind of fun to see what your other placements might have to say. And as always, do keep in mind these readings are general in nature. They're meant to apply to a more broad collective of individuals, so not necessarily every detail that comes through will apply to you, but that's why I highly recommend you take anything and everything that does resonate, however that makes sense for your specific situation. Keep an open mind to anything that might be helpful and simply leave the rest. So Capricorn, I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're having a great summer. I am super excited to be here with you today, and thank you so much for being here and sharing this time and space with me. Really looking forward to this reading for you guys, seeing what August might have in store. In the spirit of Leo season, I decided to just throw my structure out the window. We're just completely changing up how we're doing things this month. And, you know, everyone needs a good pep talk, and that is very much what Leo energy is about. It's all about your inherent worth and value just because you are you. And so I decided, instead of checking in with the energy and the potential block and how to overcome that, we are actually going to be focusing on your strengths this month. So the energy that's highlighted, your blessings, some advice, what you need to know this month to make the most out of the energy. So really looking forward to that. And before we jump into it, I will say I do have some channeled messages for you, which usually I kick off the reading with. But again, to shake it up, I am actually going to start by jumping right into your cards, and I will share the channeled messages with you after we get through your tarot. So I'll read out those channeled messages, we'll cover that, and then I can get you some affirmations and a final oracle card to tie everything together. But when I was connecting to your energy, it was really interesting. I wasn't really picking up a lot. Like, I wasn't picking up a lot of major vibes, major feelings. Like, it was just kind of even. So I kind of get the sense that, like, maybe there isn't a lot going on. Maybe things are just kind of like standard routine. Like, I just kind of got the sense of, you know, focus and work and like just kind of keep on keeping on. So you may very well be in that energy, but I did get the impression that this month you may be coming into some like recognitions of illusions, like illusions that are influencing you. Maybe like illusions kind of lifting, things starting to make sense, and being able to see things for what they are rather than through the lens of your own feelings and thoughts and experiences. So you might be kind of coming into some clarity, seeing through illusions that may or may not be a theme. And I did get kind of like a little tinge of excitement in the middle of this kind of very, you know, otherwise solid, somewhat unchanging energy. So just thought I'd throw that out there. So we'll get directly into your cards, and your oracle for this month is Go the Distance. And so the oracle message this month, this actually represents your strength specifically this month. So the strength that you have been gifted with, the qualities that you've been blessed with or that are highlighted for you this month. And so I really love this. And like, I was really just excited for this reading in general because I feel like you guys need to hear this. This is the impression that I'm getting. So Go the Distance. This is all about endurance, but not just endurance. It's about strength and power and conviction and being able to, you know, remain focused and to continue moving forward and putting in effort, regardless of if you're where you want to be or you're having the type of experiences that you want to, regardless of if you're facing obstacles or you perceive that effort as paying off or not. So this is kind of like, I don't think that you guys realize just how strong and capable you are and just how much you truly endure. And the thing with this kind of endurance energy is that a lot of times it's not really it's not really glamorized. It's not really something that people look up to. Not that people look up to, but it's not really something that's highlighted as like a really beneficial strength. And I think that, you know, there are so many other qualities that are kind of highlighted by our society, and most of those have to do with, you know, accomplishment and hard work and, you know, abundance and all that kind of stuff. And I think that endurance is something that is so important, and it is such an amazing gift and an amazing skill. But it's also kind of something that flies under the radar. So it's something that you may not really truly value or recognize in yourself, but also that you may not have been taught to kind of recognize, right? And the thing is, like, the vibe that I got with this is you might have it, even when I'm telling you this, like, you might have a tendency to kind of, I don't want to say put yourself down, it could be that, but to minimize your strength, to minimize what you've been able to endure and what you've been able to accomplish over this time. Because the thing is, you might be downplaying it by saying like, oh, well, it's not that I'm strong and it's not that I have endurance. This is just the way that my life has gone and I've had to figure out how to manage it. And I think that, like, you know, what's the difference? What's the difference between like, hey, my life circumstances have happened in such a way that I've had to cultivate a huge level of strength and endurance, versus I decided to do things in a really long-term, difficult way that was going to take forever, that I've had to be like really patient and working really hard. Like, what's the difference? You're doing it. You're doing it anyways. And, you know, the fact that you're doing it and, you know, it's out of your control and it's not something that you're intentionally subjecting yourself to is really just a further testament to your strength, because it's a lot more difficult to maintain that effort and to hold that vision and to keep charging forward when, you know, maybe every part of you wants to stop or to rest or to give up, or, you know, potentially could succumb to fear that, oh, like, you know, if I haven't gotten there yet, maybe I never will. So there are so many opportunities for you to give up on yourself, for you to kind of waver, and you may have and you may have setbacks, and you may have slow periods or periods where you kind of like lose that hope to some extent. But it's like, I don't think that you realize how incredible it is that you endure. Oh my gosh, this is bothering me. I'm gonna try and see if I can sit it up here, that you can endure everything that you do and everything that you have, and that you can still keep going, right? So it's like you've got that, like, what's the word? An indomitable, I can't pronounce it. Indomitable spirit. It's basically like you've kind of got this spark that just can't be extinguished, and that is what's going to continue pushing you forward, even if every other part of you says like, hey, I don't want to do this, I'm tired, right? It's kind of like, you know what you want ultimately, and you know that even if it's far off in the distant future, it's important enough to you that you don't want to give up, you know, even if you're tired, even if you're worn out, even if you feel discouraged. And it's recognizing that it can be really difficult to kind of maintain that energy. You have to, if you are in a position of endurance, you have to be very aware of your energy and your resources. You have to be aware of the effort that is required of you just to kind of stay in that space. And you have to be really specific about where you spend your time and energy and who you spend that energy with, right? And to be really mindful of your resources, and kind of like, you have to take very good care of yourself when you're in this position. So it's like, you are handling so much, you are accomplishing this beautifully. And the great thing is like, we've got the cheetah here, right, which represents speed. And so the cheetah represents speed and is able to kind of take action really quickly. But just because you have that strength and that power and the ability to do things really quickly doesn't mean that things will always manifest for you quickly. So, you know, the fact that you are in this position of endurance where maybe, you know, you're waiting for your ships to come in still, you're waiting for your manifestation to take form. Maybe it's been a very, very, very long game that you've been playing, and there's still a ways to go, or you don't know kind of what's ahead. That is not reflective of your capability. It's not reflective of your strength or your power or your speed or your vision or your worth, right? It's like you have everything that you need to get there really quickly. But the thing is that what you're trying to connect with and what you're trying to manifest is something that's going to be very meaningful, very lasting. It's going to be a lasting and long-term like happiness or abundance or relationship or family or career or, you know, whatever it is that's at that finish line for you that you particularly are focused on. It's recognizing that, you know, you have what you need to get there, but it doesn't necessarily mean that things are going to happen immediately, right? And it's also kind of trusting that if you are exactly where you need to be. If you're on this path and you've been working for a long time and you're still having to endure and, you know, maybe accept that things are not panning out or have not panned out the way that you thought they would or on the timeline that you thought that they would, it's like what's meaningful to you and what's meant for you is not going to pass you by or to be kept from you, right? So it's kind of like what you're working toward and what you value isn't instant gratification. If you were to, you know, to rush through that race and get to the end really quickly, you might find that the prize is not a meaningful and lasting one that's going to bring you what you're looking for, right? So it's kind of like reassurance that like you are strong enough to endure this. You have everything you need to get there. You need to take care of yourself. And I think it's just recognizing that you can and will, and you have been going the distance, and giving yourself a little bit more credit, and also taking care of yourself and respecting yourself better, because you may look at yourself and your value and your worth as being connected to your ability to like cross that finish line, and the fact that you haven't crossed that finish line or gotten or manifested that thing and you're still working on it might be something that makes you question yourself or your ability or your worth in comparison to others. And it's recognizing like, no, it's like you have so much more, you're working with so much more, and you are putting in the effort for the long game, not for instant gratification, but for something that's going to be really, really beautifully aligned and really of high quality, right? That's what you're manifesting, and that's why it's taking a while, right? So it's recognizing that even when it seems as though what you're working toward is not kind of within reach or within sight, it's knowing that the reason that you're kind of on this path of endurance is because like when you do finally get there and when it does pay off, like it's going to make all of that work worth it. So yeah, I don't think you guys recognize just how strong you are. I don't think you recognize how amazing it is that you can, you know, hold the vision and still be inspired to take forward movement, even if you're feeling exhausted, even if you're feeling discouraged, even if it's taking a really long time, because it's recognizing like you're making it happen. Whether you can see evidence in your material, in your physical surroundings or not, you are making it happen and you are getting there. And it doesn't mean that it makes the whole endurance process any easier, but it's like you, with every step that you take and every forward bit of movement, you are strengthening yourself. So I think you need to know just how much you have accomplished, right? Because we like to take a look at our life and our experience and our accomplishments like in a really empirical sense. And the thing is that you can't really judge the growth and the strength and the accomplishment that comes with being able to exist in this space, right? Because this is also kind of like a transition space where it's like, yeah, okay, the excitement of starting the race and deciding what you're running or working toward has worn off, and you're in the middle knowing like, hey, I've just got to keep going. This is not the fun or the glamorous part. And maybe the end is still so far away that you don't have that extra bit of push and encouragement and motivation. So it's really just holding fast, right? And it's like, that takes a lot. Like not just anyone can do that and have their, have their spirits intact, right? So it's like, this is a major challenge, a major test, but this is your strength, you know, like you can endure with the knowledge that what you're working toward is going to be for you. Okay, so I'm doing kind of like a free read, just getting a bunch of cards and we're just gonna go for it, and I'm gonna see what comes out. So you've got the Wheel of Fortune, you've got Strength, and actually I was only gonna pull 3 cards, but you got an extra, so we will include that too. We've got the 6 of Pentacles and the 4 of Wands. And at the bottom of the deck, the 10 of Pentacles. I do feel like this is a theme for you guys. Like a lot of you might be focused on family, partnerships, like kind of like building your legacy, a material existence and foundation that is going to allow you to have that partner, have that family, that happily ever after, that material abundance. Showing up here again. So that might be what's been on your mind or what you've been working toward. Maybe that's the long game that you're playing. The wheel is clarified by the Ace of Pentacles. We'll clarify all these cards and then we'll give a good read of them. Okay, so let's clarify Strength. Oops. Strength is clarified by the Chariot. 6 of Pentacles is clarified by the Queen of Cups, and the 4 of Wands is clarified by the Page of Pentacles. Okay, and at the bottom of the deck we have the Queen of Swords. Yeah, so this is kind of like, this might be influenced about your truth, like the truth of who you are, what means the most to you, what you want out of life, what this happily ever after looks like. So it's like, it doesn't have to be a marriage and a family and, you know, the white picket fence, the nice house, and, you know, the dog and lots of money in the bank. That's like this happily ever after that you're ultimately working for, that's going to be more like more materially based, more like in your external environment, your external world. That looks different for each and every one of you. So it's like, I feel like there might be some clarity as to what is true for you, what it is that you want, what you're working toward, and maybe what that's going to require of you, or what kind of individuals you might need to connect with, what kind of experiences you might need to start connecting with, because there is a sense of being transformed by your own personal truth. And when you're willing to stand in that truth and make decisions from that kind of empowered place, it makes it a lot easier to, while you're holding that vision, to kind of not waver on like what it is that this means to you. So yeah, but yeah, it could very well be like having a family, or like buying that house, or that getting that career, or financial stability, or it, you know, this is the realm of the material. So it could be all of those things at once. Like you might have some really big goals. And that's the thing, is like, if you've got really big goals and really high standards and like, you know, not expectations, but it's like, if you want it all, that might be why you're in this position where your endurance is being tested. Because if you want it all and you are trying to like master all of these things and have the best of the best, it's like, that is going to take a lot of effort. It's going to take a long time, and it's going to take you being discerning about the types of experiences that you're willing to participate in and the types of people that you're willing to connect with, right? So it's like, if you are manifesting this 10 of Pentacles happily ever after, and there are lots of components to that abundance, then it's like, yeah, you know, you if you want that, like, you know, big slice of pie at the end of the day, it's like, it's going to take a little bit longer, and it's probably going to take a little bit more work, but it's knowing that that's why your endurance is being tested. It's not that you can't get there or that you can't have it. It's like you're doing all of the work behind the scenes to put everything in place to set yourself up for that success. So that's what I see like influencing this. So that's a really positive kind of energy. And let me just take a look overall. The thing that's really standing out to me the most is the fact that we've got Strength and the Chariot here. And so Strength is the Leo card. Obviously we're in Leo season, so Leo season might be highlighted for you, particularly this month of August, there also might be a connection to like cats or like feline energy, but I think it's interesting because we've also got like a big cat here, right? And so strength is all about, you know, it's not just strength in terms of physical strength and brute force and your ability to go the distance, but there's such a strong mental, emotional, and spiritual component to it. It's not just about the action that you're taking and the physical effort that you're exerting, because you know, our mind, our body, our emotions, our beliefs feed into what we're able to accomplish in the physical realm. So it's like, it's not just about what you're doing and what you're accomplishing. It is about the strength of spirit and your ability to endure on an emotional level, maybe like emotional pain and discomfort, maybe, you know, challenging thoughts and ideas that you are having to kind of bust your way through and not allowing them to disrupt you from continuing to take steps toward your goal, right? And also with it being clarified by the Chariot, this is like also Cancer season. So like, you know, the season that we just came out of. So the summer months may have felt like a particular challenge. Maybe your strength and your endurance on all levels really has been highlighted as a test and it's been feeling a little bit discouraging, but it could be, you know, it could be that you're being asked to kind of level up, because I think it's asking you to start claiming and recognizing your strength and your ability to endure, and that it's not just a physical practical thing. It's on all levels, and that it takes kindness and compassion and self-love and acceptance to be able to exist in that space and to continue moving forward and to, you know, sit in and address and try to move through any pain and discomfort, or, you know, perhaps hopelessness or lack of motivation, you know, the things that come up for us when we are being tested and we're beginning to get tired and worn down, and, you know, the things that are kind of trying to convince us to stop and give up, that you have to power through in order to eventually get to your goal. And it's recognizing like, this is like such a strong empowered energy. It's like you have strength in all forms, whether you realize it or not. And if you can claim it, you can channel that into fast forward movement. So even if you are still playing the long game and there's still more work to be done and your manifestations are taking some time, it's like you are still confidently in charge and in power, you know, and you're still at the helm, right? You're not simply at the effect of life, right? Because you're the one who's making a decision to work toward what you're working toward. Whether you feel that things are aligning or not, or things are out of your control, it's like you are still, you know, you're still in control of yourself. And you have this ability, as long as you trust your strength and you trust your ability to kind of keep the positive and negative and balance, and to kind of hold the vision and to remain focused on the end goal. Like this, the Chariot is a race, right? And she knows that she is relying on these horses to carry her forward. And so she has to trust them, but she also has to trust her ability to kind of manage them, right? And to recognize that there's a certain amount of control that she exerts, but at the end she's not completely in control, and she has to trust that things are unfolding as they should. And so I think that's a very empowering energy. And especially for you being an earth sign, right? It's like recognizing that there's a lot of inspiration, like it's what inspires you. It's what lights you up and excites you, that is helping you to kind of connect to that strength and endurance and to keep charging toward what you want, because you're looking for emotional fulfillment too. It's not just about the material strength and, you know, abundance and all of that kind of coming in for you. And the thing that I really, really love is that what I can see is like, okay, the thing that I will say is like the impression that I get from all of these cards together is that yes, you may be being tested, but things are being woven. So even if you can't see, it's kind of like things are falling into place. Things are happening for you. Everything is interconnected. The effort that you're putting out is going to come back to you. It may not come back immediately, and it may not be really super evident like how that is going to manifest or come back to you, but you know, your effort is not in vain, right? Like whatever you're going through now, whatever feels slow moving, whatever test of endurance is really obvious for you at the moment, it's recognizing that you're putting that effort out, you're moving forward, and that's going to be rewarded, right? Like, you know, for every action there is a reaction. So it's really just important that you're able to connect to your strength, believe in yourself, celebrate yourself, treat yourself kindly, and don't make the mistake of diminishing yourself to just like where you are in life or what you feel like you've accomplished, right? Or, you know, the goals that you've hit versus the ones that you haven't, because it's like you're so much more than that. And I think that you're being given the opportunity to recognize like just how awesome you are, like how capable you are, whether or not that's being reflected back to you in terms of, you know, the goals that you're working toward. And the thing is, it's like you might be in this space where it's like you're just having to endure, and, you know, maybe things aren't particularly great, or maybe you don't particularly feel like you're making a lot of progress. But for you to kind of keep your focus on the end goal, you know, not to get too thrown off by any thoughts or emotions that you're experiencing, any sense of being tired or worn out or wondering if you're ever going to get there. It's like if you can just stay in this space where you know what you're working toward and you just are doing what you need to do to take care of yourself and to believe that you're making your way there, that's keeping yourself in balance is really helping, you know, set the wheel in motion so that the opportunities that are meant for you and the experiences that you're meant to have, that long game that you're working toward, it's like everything is starting to fall into place. So when you're doing what you are meant to do, following the calling of your heart, regardless of if you feel like you're doing so successfully, you just may not feel like it. But it's like this is allowing things to start falling into place. This is allowing you to start connecting with your fate and your destiny, opportunities to like meet specific people, or maybe reconcile with people, or have opportunities that are going to, you know, open the door that perhaps might, you know, give you a little boost forward, or give you a taste of that end goal, to help kind of renew your focus and your motivation, right? So it's like you'll get everything that you need if you can just kind of stay in this space where you're focused on and dedicated to yourself and what's best for you, because there is an opportunity for kind of like a new beginning. So you might be on the path to this Ten of Pentacles, abundance, happily ever after, or it might be like a new take on it, but staying in that energy, keeping your balance and trusting that your efforts will be rewarded, trusting that maintaining that alignment is going to pay off for you and you're going to have the experiences and meet the people that you need to meet. That it can feel a little bit scary because it's kind of like a game of chance. You're rolling the dice and you don't necessarily know how that's going to play out, but that is what's going to allow you to connect with new opportunities to kind of plant new seeds, right? So perhaps you were on a path to this Ten of Pentacles happily ever after that didn't quite turn out to be what you expected, but there could very well be a new opportunity for you to plant a new seed with a new vision in mind and start working toward that. So it could be, you know, a new investment, entrepreneurship, a new job. It could be like a new opportunity to kind of connect with somebody that is looking to cultivate the same type of life as you are. And I think that what I said about like the effort that you're taking is not going unnoticed, whether it's impacting your external environment immediately, it's all connected, right? So it's like you have a certain amount of abundance and perhaps it's difficult for you to really connect with and appreciate the abundance that you have. You might feel a little bit disconnected from it because you are so focused on this end goal and how long it's taking you to get there, and perhaps you're being a little bit hard on yourself. And so I think that it's really important with the Queen of Cups here is to recognize that your emotions matter. Like how you experience the world through your emotions matter. How you feel about yourself is what matters the most. And so if you're participating in your life in a way that denies your emotions, or that kind of beats up on yourself and diminishes your strength and diminishes what you're actually accomplishing because you're so focused on the fact that this Ten of Pentacles hasn't quite manifested yet, it's going to be really difficult for you to cultivate something that's going to be emotionally fulfilling if you're kind of if you're undermining and beating up on yourself. So your strength in terms of really making that material abundance that you're working toward and that stability that you're working toward work for you is making sure that you are taking care of yourself on an emotional level. You're listening to your intuition, you're treating yourself with love and kindness and compassion, and you're taking opportunities to be happy, right? Like you're nurturing yourself, you're taking care of yourself, and you're recognizing that you're more than what you're accomplishing, and you're more than what is reflected in your external environment. And if you can have appreciation for yourself and your strength and your resilience and the abundance that already kind of is in your reality, that's just going to help. That's going to help you stay in a good place while your endurance is being tested, because it's remembering, like, you're not in it for instant gratification. You're in it to win it, basically, right? So you're gonna get there. It's just kind of finding a way to feel good about yourself and to kind of maintain that hope and that focus while you're on the road there. And then I really also love that the Four of Wands is here, because this is a card of happiness and celebration, right? Like there's a connection to community. It's like, so this is like a festival, right? So they're dancing, they're connecting, they're enjoying each other's company. And it's kind of like this very free-spirited energy. But the Four of Wands is also like quite often like a soulmate twin flame card. It can also represent like marriage, like a soulmate, like life partner kind of thing. And so it's kind of recognizing that when you allow yourself to connect to the things that you're passionate about, that make you feel excited, particularly if you are so focused on this end goal that you're not really making a lot of room for passion, creativity, excitement, the things that light you up now, if you're so focused on the long game that you don't allow yourself any, gratification, it's like the more that you're able to connect and express yourself and like find a community of like-minded individuals, you may actually find the person, if you're looking for a person or if you're looking for people to support you on this journey or to align with you on this journey. It's kind of like you have to allow yourself to get into that energy in order to be able to connect with those people. So it's like you kind of have to be your best self. You have to be the person that you want to attract, because it's like in an authentic way. Obviously, this is a card of authenticity and just kind of owning who you are. But it's kind of like there might be an opportunity for you to connect with somebody, because the Page of Pentacles is here, and the Page of Pentacles is and it's like a feminine earth energy. So it can be like very grounded and practical and focused on like making bank and, that really materially based abundance and prosperity. But it's also like the page is kind of still a young, youthful, inexperienced energy. So there's still a lot of potential there. There may not be a huge amount of, like, there might be a certain level of stability in terms of what you've got or what this person has and what they're working toward. And it's kind of like trusting that they're going to continue moving forward on that path of refining those skills and manifesting this like material abundance. So yeah, the fact that the Four of Wands is coming up with the Page of Pentacles, it's like it could be you that's the Page of Pentacles, and it's like this celebration, expression, allowing yourself to connect with people in a really genuine and authentic way, kind of shining your light first and setting the tone so that you can attract the type of people that really align with you, especially if you are looking for a partner, if that's part of this whole like happily ever after thing. You might need to be in this Page of Pentacles energy, or you might have the opportunity to connect with somebody who has, a similar values, similar goals, that's maybe trying to establish themselves in the same kind of way, or that is working toward a similar kind of vision of what that 10 of Pentacles happily ever after, abundant life is going to be. They might be on the same, long distance journey that you are. So I definitely see that there could potentially be an opportunity to connect with somebody that's in a similar space to you. And whether this is somebody that's just going to be a friend or a mentor or somebody to help you through, or somebody that you might connect with on a deeper level, it's like I kind of feel like this person with twin flames, which the Four of Wands is a twin flame card. It's like those are really divine kind of partnerships, like the divine masculine and feminine, two sides of the same coin coming together. And there often is a lot of alignment. There's often a lot of mirroring and people reflecting each other's strengths and weaknesses back to each other. And they can be really challenging relationships that feel kind of vulnerable. There's the opportunity for depth really quickly, and it can make us want to run away. But the thing is it's recognizing that the more shared experiences there are, the more that person kind of is like mirroring and reflecting your own experience back to you, the more opportunity there is for a really deep level of understanding and connection. And you might get some insight on your situation when you connect with somebody that's in a similar energy and experiencing the same things. It can be really validating and really encouraging to know that you're not the only one, because I think you judge yourself like you're the only one in this energy, you're the only one struggling. You see everybody else moving ahead and having their manifestations come in, and you're still like slugging away, right? So that's something to keep in mind. Yeah, or like this person, if it is a relationship, this person might be kind of like waiting for you to be willing to realize that like you guys are kind of in a similar, it's like two sides of the same coin almost. That might not be for everyone, but something to keep in mind. Oh, and the other thing is, so the Four of Wands, twin flames, usually it's like 11-11, right? So 1-1-1-1, and 4 and 7 adds to 11. So you've got that here as well. That's something to keep in mind. 11 might be a significant number. Okay, so Capricorn, I am going to share with you quickly your channeled messages for this month, and then we'll get you affirmations and a final oracle to tie everything together. This really made me happy, the first channeled message that came through. It actually was more of like an impression that I got that made me think of like an experience that I related to, but it was cooking classes. So it could be chef school if you're somebody who has a passion for cooking or is wanting to kind of move in that direction. In terms of work, it could be that that's something that you're pursuing. But the way that it occurred more to me was like the idea of, that when places put on like cooking classes, so it could be in like, a supermarket or like a small kitchen, or maybe a restaurant hosts an evening where it's like you learn to make a specific dish. So it's not necessary. It could be that you like are signing up for cooking classes, like, and it's like a weekly thing. Or it could just be a one-time thing where it's like, oh, hey, like learn to roll your own sushi or like make a pizza from scratch kind of thing. And so I got the sense like it could be something that you do just as a hobby to kind of like experience something new just for fun, to like make and eat something like a new dish. It could be like a date night thing, a point of connection. It could be something that you enjoy with friends. But it's kind of like fun and learning and maybe getting a little bit out of your comfort zone. I didn't get the sense that it's like you don't know how to cook or you're not comfortable with cooking, but it's kind of like maybe putting yourself in a setting where you're learning or you're being kind of watched over or you're doing something unfamiliar for the first time in a more public setting. Could be getting you out of your comfort zone, but also kind of fun. So that might be something that, I don't know, maybe that resonates for you. The next message that came through was grievances and the idea of like airing grievances. So just having open and honest conversations. So it's like there could be a disagreement, there could be kind of like a misalignment, maybe, some grievances, some things that have happened that between you and another person that need to be discussed, that's kind of been weighing on you or the connection. So the sense that I got is like having an open, honest conversation, on both sides where people are willing to kind of speak their truth and hear each other out and kind of like come to some level of understanding or perhaps forgiveness. And that if you are willing to do that and the other person is willing to do that, it may actually give you a little bit more insight on that person and on the situation. You may realize that those grievances are really just the result of a miscommunication or a misunderstanding, or perhaps like a false assumption on one side or another, maybe a projection of one person onto another, or maybe like, fear and anxiety at play causing a person to make a decision that, maybe it's not really truly what representative of what they wanted, kind of thing. So yeah, I just kind of got the sense that there's an opportunity to have an open, honest conversation. It might be really illuminating, and then it gives you the opportunity to kind of clear the air so that you can decide, like, you can start fresh and move forward, or you kind of go your separate ways. So either way, I felt like that was a very empowered energy. And then the last message that came through for you was fun in the sun. So like being outdoors, camping or hiking, going to the cottage, going to the beach, like summer barbecues, patios, like that kind of stuff. And so the idea is, like, the more that you can get outside in the sun, doing those fun summer things, it's kind of like the idea, like, really truly make the most out of this month. Do as much as you can, have as much fun as you can, enjoy summer while it's still here. That was kind of the vibe. So I'll get you a couple of affirmations, Capricorn, and then we'll get your final oracle card. Let's see. Oops. All right, we got 2 for you. All right, I have no expectations and I make no assumptions. I think that's a really important energy to be in, because those expectations and assumptions often just kind of they just kind of create barriers and limitations. Sometimes they oversimplify, sometimes they overcomplicate things, but they give us something to cling to that isn't necessarily realistic or reasonable. And a lot of times it just makes us really difficult for us to just deal with things as they come and meet life where it is. And you know, a lot of times it just kind of increases our resistance to what we're experiencing. So I think that, particularly in the sense that you are being challenged, your gift is that you are able to withstand a lot. You are able to be patient. You're able to kind of work through that discomfort and just keep moving forward, even if it's kind of like a long, hard road. That this releasing your expectations and assumptions is going to help you stay focused on what's most important to you and maintain that belief in yourself and hold that vision for what you're working toward, so that you don't kind of get sucked into an energy that's not going to be empowering for you. And then I think also in relationships with people, it's being willing to see people as they are, hear what they have to say, and not kind of like build things up in terms of like, so it's kind of like, this might be part of what I was talking about, like illusions being cleared. And I want to mention something that one of my favorite readers says. I don't know if I'm going to get this right, but it's the idea that expectations are just premeditated resentments. So it's like, it's when you set expectations, the chance of those expectations being met, because they're so personal, they're so unique to you, the chance of things going exactly as you expect or want them to is really limited. So a lot of the time when you set that expectation, you're saying, I expect this is going to happen. I want this to happen. And if it doesn't happen, or if it doesn't happen in the way or the time I expect it to, I'm going to be upset, right? So it's like you're kind of just committing yourself to be upset and to resent life or yourself or, you know, whoever you're dealing with, because it's like you've kind of set yourself up. You almost set yourself up for failure because you're not willing to kind of work with what you've got, right? You're kind of expecting that things are going to go a certain way. So I will say that, if that resonates for you. And then the second affirmation is, I am at home in my body. And because you are earth signs and you kind of are the masters of the material, the physical, doing grounding exercises, particularly if you are struggling mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, doing grounding exercises, walking, moving your body, anything that helps connect you to your senses is really going to help kind of bring you back to your baseline if things are feeling a little elevated or out of sorts. And I think this is also just like body positivity, self-acceptance, self-love, recognizing that your body is your home, but you are also, you know, and it deserves to be loved and appreciated. It does so much for you, but you're also more than just your body in the way that you look. So just have to say that. So I'll get you one final oracle card. It just is kind of like advice for this month to tie everything together, and we'll leave it there. Oops. There's actually 2 cards that dropped out, so I'm just gonna throw them back in and shuffle until we get one. Getting close. Oh, here we go. Ooh, I like this. Okay, so the oracle that you got to close everything off is birthing a new age. And it says birthing new creations, dreaming a new world into being. Yeah, so it could be thought about this, like this happily ever after that you want. Okay, so let me just look up in the guidebook. I'll read it directly to you. Sorry, sometimes it takes a while. These cards don't have numbers, so I just kind of have to scroll until I find it. Okay, birthing a new age. Often our path is exactly the one we don't feel prepared to walk. Walk it anyway. Often what is rising feels far bigger than we could possibly hold. Be a container for it anyway. Often our creations seem to have a wild, uncontrollable consciousness of their own. Birth them anyway. Often what is ours to do is the very thing that most intimidates us. Be courageous and do it anyway. We are birthing a new age. Right now, we're in a transition period between the ages, in the process of allowing the old cycle to fall away and the new to rise. Like driving in the fog and trusting the road will appear ahead, we need to release old identities and ways that no longer serve us, using our intuition as a compass. You are part of a group of souls who have been incarnating at significant periods of history, preparing for this exact time. Dreaming a new world into being, Magdalene sisters, daughters of Isis, Essenes, priestesses, witches, mystics, healers, seers, artists, midwives, visionaries, guardians of the earth, and storytellers from the past. It is time to give permission and space for what is beckoning within to be born. We are dreaming a new world into being. And then there's an activation, so it says to hold the card on your heart and say these following words. So maybe if you're interested in doing it, you could just look at the card. And it says, I am open to surrendering to the creations that are wanting to be birthed through me. May I be of service in a way that delights my mind, body, and soul. Please use me, please lead me, and please show me the way. So I think that's really interesting. It's kind of noting that whatever it is that you're working to, it's a bigger picture, maybe a bigger vision that you're holding in comparison to other people. And that's why you're in this transitional space where you're working and things are maybe feeling a little bit daunting, and that maybe like your doubts and your fear or your like questioning of whether it is that you can achieve it, it just is proof that what you're working towards is bigger and better than maybe anything you've ever experienced before, and maybe anything that anyone that you know has experienced before. And that's why it's taking so much work and vision, because you really are birthing something completely new and something that is very meaningful and unique to you. And so it's like, just hold the vision and know that's what's motivating you. That's what's keeping you going, right? That's what's giving you strength, because this is all about you. So I think that's a really encouraging note to leave things on, Capricorn. If you did enjoy this reading, the best way to support me is to like this video on YouTube. Of course, leave a comment. You can check out my social media as well. If there's anyone you could think of that might be interested in my readings, you can forward my channel or my videos to them. And if you haven't already, make sure you check out my channel at Bright Soul Collective Tarot. Ensure you're not only subscribed, but also signed up for notifications, and that'll keep you up to date. I'm hoping maybe this month will be the month that I can do a mid-month check-in. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure reading for you. I'm very much looking forward to connecting with you again, whether it's later this month or not until next month. It's always lovely to connect, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's in store for you guys next. And in the meantime, I hope August is good to you, and I'm wishing you all the very best.